Senator, how do you reconcile some of the policy positions that you have that are very different from Governor Romney, particularly when it pertains to foreign affairs and being out on the campaign trail for him? I know your father has not been supportive in the same way that you have.
You know, I think we try to choose who we think is best as Republicans in the primary. And obviously, I thought my dad was the best candidate and still do. But then I think the difference between who we nominate and who the Democrats nominate is pretty significant. When you look at the economic issues in particular, I think President Obama really thinks that hire a few more government workers and everything will be okay, whereas we understand you have to grow the private sector. But on foreign policy, you're right. I will not always agree with the Republican nominee, and my job will be, I hope, to keep us out of additional wars. I hope to help be part of the solution and bringing our troops home from Afghanistan. But, you know, during the Republican primary debate, Governor Romney said he was ready to come home from Afghanistan. I know there's some quibbling here and there on timeline, but to tell you the truth, I don't think there's much daylight between Governor Romney and President Obama on the war. The real difference is on the economy. They're night and day on the economy and not that far apart on coming home from Afghanistan. I will try to keep us out of war in Syria, keep us out of preemptive war around the world, and I will fight for these things. And hopefully I'll be able to convince Governor Romney to come to my direction. Within the Republican Senate caucus, you know, there's probably 10 of us now who are reticent to give the president unlimited authority for war. It doesn't sound like many, but it's 10 more than there used to be, I think, who believes that Congress declares war, not the president. And there are probably a few Democrats who believe that, too. And so I think there is actually a bipartisan, sort of libertarian but more constitutional caucus on war issues. And I've been working hard with many on the other side. I work with Senator Wyden, Senator Merkley, Senators Udall, on issues of war to try to make it less likely that we get involved in another war. And we'll see what happens.
Senator Paul, your father, and on this network, many of his supporters have indicated that they think you might run for president in 2016. Any interest in seeking higher office?
Well, you know, a lot of that depends on what happens next Tuesday or a week from Tuesday. I want to be involved in the national debate. I want to transform the Republican Party into a party that's competitive in all 50 states. I think that, you know, particularly the West Coast and New England, we've written off, and we give up probably, what, 150 electoral votes to begin with. That's why it always comes down to we have to win Florida and we have to win Ohio. I'd rather be competitive in California, Oregon, and Washington and all of New England. And I think one way to be competitive is to have a less aggressive foreign policy that doesn't always think war is the answer, and to be a little bit more of a tolerant party when it comes to people who don't always agree with us on every issue, and still to be a fiscally conservative party that believes in balancing the budget. I think if you ran primarily on the message of balancing the budget, and that was a primary message even in California, I think there are even Democrats in California that would vote for you if they knew that your primary purpose and what you wanted to control government for was to control out-of-control deficit spending.
So you left that window open for 2016.
Well, yeah, you know, nobody knows what happens a week from Tuesday, and we'll see what happens a week from Tuesday. But my primary purpose now is I have gone around the country campaigning for Governor Romney, and I'm hoping that Governor Romney wins a week from Tuesday.
Susan Ferricchio.